Hey folks, before we jump into this review, I've got some good news for you. Up until the 19th of July, all Nembrini plugins in iOS are 50% off. Yes, jump into the App Store now, save yourself 50% on this and a heap of other Nembrini plugins. And now, on with the show. In this video, we're taking a look at this one, the Nembrini Sound Master Guitar Amp Sim plugin here in iOS. So, let's go. Hi, my name is Pete and welcome to Studio Live today. And yes, we are here on the iPad looking at the Nembrini Audio Sound Master, a very cool guitar amp simulator plugin standalone app. It does a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to show you everything it can do in this video. We've got the guitar plugged in, so we are going to record some tracks. But firstly, let's show you around the wonderful interface that Nembrini have here. So this is the Sound Master plugin. This is it in its AUV3 format here in GarageBand. So you can see here I've got some drums and some bass, and I've just thrown it on a clean track here. So we don't need any of this stuff. We've just got the Sound Master on there, and we're good to go. So taking a quick tour, we've got two channels on each of these amps that we can use, channel A and channel B. So you can have two settings in, one on each channel. We can then disable or enable the rack, which lets us change the actual speakers. This is pretty cool. We've got the head and the cab, and we can change both of those here, including the inputs on those. And we've got Nembrini's custom noise gate down here, which is very handy to turn on if you're getting a lot of hiss and buzz and feedback from your guitar. So we can adjust that by turning it on and off there. We've got a heap of plugins that we can play with. So at the top here, we've got all of our factory presets, and Nembrini, as always, have come to the party with a heap of very cool presets to get you started, which we'll start to explore. And then, of course, we've got our fat switch here, so we can make it fat or not. And then we've got our standard gain, treble, bass, mid, volume, and output along here that we can take a look at. And then this one on our first channel A. So we've got that additional volume there, so we can drive up the gain on our dirty channel if we want to do so. So that's enough talking. You want to hear what this sucker sounds like? Yeah, let's take a look. So the preset you heard right up the front there was the heavy rhythm. So to review how to actually go in and enable that, we can either tap up here or down here in the bottom left. Up here, we'll go into our factory presets. We can then scroll on down and find the one we want. So we can go through all of these different ones. In this case, we actually want that heavy rhythm. So we just tap on that one. Now you can hear, I'll just turn that off. You can hear that background noise here, and we've got that going on. So we'll turn that off there. Now, what I'll explain first up is that every amp sim in the world is going to have that. When you turn an amp on, it sounds like that, especially if you've got a dirty or an overdriven channel. So don't worry too much about that. If it does worry you, if you're playing along and you've got gaps and things and you don't want that, you can actually enable the noise gate. So if we go to the rack, we tap on the rack there, we can turn the noise gate on here. So if we turn this back on and then we turn on the noise gate, listen to that, it's gone away until I play. And as soon as it detects no noise, then it goes away. And you can change, again, the threshold and the range to see how much of that you want to actually have in there. And there's actually a standalone noise gate as well. So even if you don't own this amp, you can use the noise gate plugin as well. That'll be linked down the bottom and up above. By the way, this app retails, it depends when you're buying it, but it's around the $20 US mark, and you get a lot of bang for buck if you're going to be buying this one. So let's now jump in and we'll record a track with this heavy rhythm just so that you can see and hear how it works in action. Rightio, we've recorded that. Now we've got the handy power switch here, so just so that you don't hear that noise gate kicking in and out, we'll do that there. We'll hit the done button here in the top right, and then we'll come back to our track view, and you'll be able to see there is our track. Probably needed to turn the gain up. By the way, if you want to learn how to connect your guitar to your iPhone or iPad, video linked up there down in the description that you can learn about that. But let's just solo this guitar and take a listen to this without any of the play along background noise there. And why is it making that noise? Because that's the clean sound. This is the cool thing about using an AUV3 plugin, is that we can just use it on our clean track, and it's not till we actually turn it on, like this, that the sound goes from that to this. There's your clean sound. Sounding pretty darn cool if you ask me. And again, you got that bit of hiss behind there, but that's what you get in an amp sim. When you turn the distortion up, you're going to get that. Let's bring the drums and the bass back in here and see what these sound like all together. There you go. So we can record that in really easy, really simple to do. We just add this as an AUV3 plugin. And once again, if you want to learn about audio unit plugins and how to add them, how to use them, there's more videos linked down below about that. Let's jump back in here too, because the beautiful part about this as an AUV3 is if we don't like that tone, guess what? We can change it instantly. So this is the benefit of using Guitar Amp Sim. Say we want to go, I don't really want it that heavy. I don't want the rhythm to be that heavy here. We can actually tap on here, go back to our presets. What do we think? Maybe we'll go with an alternative rhythm kind of sound. Oh, we got the big sound coming in there. We'll just turn it off for now. So let's try this one here. In fact, you know what we'll do? We'll come back to here. We'll go back to here and we'll turn off the monitor, just so that while we're playing around with this, there you go. You're not going to hear the guitar sound coming through. So obviously with your monitor on there, your guitar's going to play and you're going to hear that in your background. But now we can come back in here, turn this back on and safely not be hearing that buzz. But what we can do is now listen and maybe audition a few different tones in here and see what might work well with this track. Let's play it. Yeah, I reckon that tone's going to work a little bit better for this one. So that's how easy this all is. What if we want to add another guitar track? Guess what? We just duplicate. Tap that, duplicate it. We've got a second track in here. We've got our Nembrini Sound Master ready to go here. We can now dial in another track. So why don't we play a little lead guitar here? So if we tap on here, let's find a lead setting. What are we going to go with for a lead guitar? We'll come on down here. Why don't we go with a vintage lead? Let's just see what this is going to be like. Got our vintage lead on there. Now, of course, we need to go back and turn our monitoring back on because we turned that off on the other track. We're going to have to come back here, turn our monitor on. Oh, you can instantly hear it, can't you? There is our lead sound. So we might need to go back and adjust a bit of that, just so that we don't have quite as much background noise in this one. So this is a good opportunity to show you some of these. So what we can do, let's turn this gain down. There you go. You can instantly hear that we get rid of some of that. So if you put these presets on and you're like, Pete, but they sound too noisy, guess what? You can turn down that gain, still get the tone going through, but without quite as much of the hiss. And don't forget, we can also go back to our rack and turn on our noise gate so that when we're not playing, we're not hearing any of that as well. So we can start adjusting all of these if we want a little bit less on the bass there and the mids there, just to balance that out. We can adjust all of these. You can see we're on channel B here. So we're on channel B of this vintage lead. So that's where we are there. We can go back to channel A and we can keep two separate settings in these so that we want our cleaner tone there. We can then jump over here and have our second tone, which is our overdriven tone. So that's pretty cool. You can easily switch between those two. Down here is our amp cabinets. So if we click or tap on this one, look how many combinations we got here. And it's not only the actual speakers, but the microphones, an R121, a C414. You can actually choose the different configurations to give you a completely different sound. So what will we dial in here? Let's find something fun. We'll go with maybe the British. Let's go with this one, the 87 with the 121. Let's try this one. I reckon that sounds pretty cool. So let's use this. Let's try this as our tone for this particular track, and we'll play along. We'll add a little bit of a lead part to this rhythm part we've already laid down. There we go. Not the greatest lead guitar performance ever. I'm a rhythm player, in case you didn't notice. Let's jump back out here and take a look. So yeah, again, I'll give my gains down a little bit too low. Could probably turn that up a bit. You can play around with that. Set your input gain to make it sound good. But let's just play these two guitar parts together and see what sort of sound we get here. So you can see that very quickly we can build out and get some really nice different guitar tones here just from this one plugin. And the beautiful part about doing this is that when you're recording guitars and multi-layering guitars in particular, you kind of want a different guitar sound on, say, the left and the right. So if we were going to make this our two tracks here, what you'd probably do is come in here and you'd pan one hard left, you'd grab the other one, you'd pan it hard right, and that way you'd get this guitar tone on the left, this one on the right. You make these different, and then when you're playing them together, they're going to sound cool because they're going to be two different complementary but different tones. Let's take a listen. So once you layer in your vocals and you do your other things, you can easily get some cool tones. Now, I've shown a lot of the distorted tones. We do also have some nice clean tones in the Sound Master. So let's duplicate one more track here, shall we? And let's just take a quick look at some of the clean tone options that we have here in the Sound Master plugin. So once again, we can come back here. We can go to our presets. Let's use the bottom left this time. So we've got our presets that we can do down here. We can save custom presets too. So you can save in your own presets like you can with a lot of other plugins here as well. So let's find something a little bit cleaner. What about a clean bluesy sort of style here? If we want a bit of a bluesy sound, let's see what we get with this one. We've got this going on. Pretty cool. And if we wanted to play some, apart from the fact that our guitar's way out of tune because I've been rocking out, but you can start playing some different sort of tones there, and you can obviously, again, adjust all your volumes, your trebles, your mids, your bass, everything else that you need in here, and then save it all in. And don't forget, you can go back to your rack. By doing that, change out your cabinet, add your noise gate, turn that on so that that goes off there. And then when you're all done, you can actually save this in. So if we hit the little save icon here, like that, sorry, that one, then we can actually save this one in. We can create folders, we can save them as different files, and they're all going to save within the plugin here. Very, very cool. Don't forget also that you can layer up. So if you wanted to use this along with some pedals or some other effects at all, I'd recommend the other Nembrini pedals. We could come in here before the amp. Make sure you put it before the amp, because just remember, like you do with a regular amp, go into our audio unit extension, scroll on down, and say we wanted to put in a flanger in front of this. Well, guess what? We can do that. We can then add the flanger here to have in front. We can play around with that setting, and then that one is going to actually be in our chain. Let's just turn on the flanger, and then we'll make this one a little bit more of a rockin' kind of sound. We'll come back into our presets. Let's go the channel overdrive this time. You can hear it kicking in there. And let's take a listen to this channel overdrive with a flanger pedal with the Sound Master. And if we thought, hey, that's cool, but we want a little bit more drive, well, let's just flick over to channel B, and guess what we get? A whole lot more drive. There you have it, the Nembrini Sound Master. Big thank you to Nembrini, who provided me with this copy to demonstrate for you here today. Jump into the App Store, check out all the Nembrini products. There's links down in the description to more videos all about Nembrini's products here in iOS. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.